Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie Denton, the Executive Director of the British Chilean Chamber of Commerce. And on this very cold day here in Santiago, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th Conference on Bilingual Education. As many of you will know, this conference represents a collaborative effort by several national and international institutions in Chile, aimed at uniting leading scholars, researchers, school administrators, and educators to exchange and discuss their insights and findings on various aspects of bilingual education across Latin America and other regions. On a personal note, as a mother raising 2 bilingual children together with my Chilean husband, it's a topic that absolutely fascinates me. Today, we are delighted to have speakers and participants joining us from across Chile, Latin America, and indeed other parts of the world. We hope you find value in this event, which has been organised with the support of 5 of our valued members, including Cambridge, the University of Edinburgh, Pontificia Universidad Católica de Valparaíso, Cognita Chile, and Trewhelas Institute. I would like to introduce Lilian Turi, the country manager of Cambridge, Chile, who will share further details about today's programme. Thank you, Lilian.
Thank you, Ellie. Esteemed colleagues and guests, welcome, as Ellie mentioned, to the 5th Conference on Bilingual Education 2024. I'm really pleased to be here today as we explore this year's theme, Embracing the Potential of Artificial Intelligence in Education. Wow, that's what we were talking about, and that's really important nowadays. Artificial intelligence is not just a trend, but a transformative force that is reshaping education as we know it. It offers unparalleled opportunities for personalized learning, fostering creativity, and enhancing academic achievement by analyzing vast data sets to understand student needs better. However, with these innovations come challenges. We must carefully navigate the ethical implications, such as bias and data privacy, to ensure artificial intelligence is used responsibly. At Cambridge, we are committed to leveraging artificial intelligence to support educators, not replace them, and to promote equitable access to high-quality education for all students. Today's conference is a platform for us to share knowledge, debate, and develop strategies to effectively integrate artificial intelligence in our educational practices. Although for now it seems really difficult. I encourage each of you to actively participate, share your insights, and collaborate to shape the future of bilingual education together. Thank you, and I look forward to the inspiring discussions ahead. Now, I would love to present you Jacqueline Rondón, English Coordinator and Cambridge International Education Exam Officer of Trewhelas School, who will present our first speaker. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Lily. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this conference. I'm Jacqueline Rondón, the English Coordinator and Cambridge International Exams Officer at Trewhelas School, as Lily said. This is an institution with more than 85 years of experience providing bilingual education to Chilean students. It is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Camila JocKel, a distinguished educator and currently our Cambridge International Coordinator of Trewhelas School, and our guest speaker for Trewhelas Institute. Trewhelas Institute is a center that promotes professional development and training for teachers of different backgrounds. Both institutions, Trewhelas School and Trewhelas Institute, are partners of Britram and active members of its education committee. Camila JocKel holds a master's degree in education with focus on management and leadership from the University of Sydney, Australia. She is a bilingual university professor with extensive experience in academic coordination, curriculum, and teacher development. Camila has a deep understanding of educational leadership, management, active methodologies, ICTs, and curriculum development. The first presentation is AI-enhanced lesson planning, empowering bilingual educators in the digital age. Challenging. Camila will lead us in exploring how artificial intelligence can transform lesson planning for bilingual educators. She will share insight how recent advancements in AI technology can help design more effective learning experiences, save time, and create meaningful and inclusive educational opportunities for diverse classrooms. Camila will also discuss how to balance AI assistance with the essential expertise of educators, ensuring that our lesson plans are pedagogically sound and culturally relevant. This session promises to offer invaluable insights for educators, seeking to integrate AI's potential while preserving the vital human element in bilingual education. So please join me in welcoming Camila JocKel.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for such kind words, and hello to everyone. I was expecting a lot of Latin Americans here, but I was not expecting to see people from Poland, from Oman, from Turkey. I read a couple of messages in the chat. So everyone, thank you for being here with me, and let me start. Okay, so as I am a primary teacher, that's my core profession. And as such, I am going to start my presentation with our objective of today's talk. So what we're going to see is we're going to learn how artificial intelligence can enhance and streamline the lesson planning, making it more effective and personalized. So I'm going to give you a little bit of context. I'm going to present two tools and very practical ways in which we can use this, and then best practices and considerations for you to have. And hopefully you're going to take with you some very, very concrete and practical things that you can apply right after. So I want to start by knowing a little bit about everyone that is here listening. So I'm going to ask you to please use that use the QR code or the code that you can see at the top of the screen at menti.com. And if you could please answer these questions so that I know who I have here with me today and I can adapt a little bit what I'm going to say. So in one word, how would you describe your current relationship with AI at work? This is thinking only as a teacher. So if you could let me know in the chat if it's working for you and are you able to do it? I see a couple of people answering in the chat. If you could scan the QR code. Are you able to? Because I see people answering in the chat instead of the Menti. Are you able to do it through Menti? Okay, I'm going to read the words that I see in the chat for now. So I see Elsa says comfortable, Maria Isabel challenging, David says suitable, quite good, pretty weak. Okay, so I see that we have like a very different public here.
Sorry, Camila, the QR code works because I tried it.
That is so weird. It's not showing.
It works, yeah.
there it is. There it is. Okay. So we see challenging as the biggest one, right? That's the one that has repeated the most for the ones that are not familiar with Menti. The bigger the word, the more people that used it. The smaller the word, the less people that used it. So we see very, very big challenging, collaborative, helpful, useful. I like that the words have like a positive connotation. So hopefully you're gonna like this talk. Thank you to everyone that answered here. Okay. I think my computer froze or something because I am not able to move to the next slide. Oh, here it is. Wait. Here I am. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so why do I personally think it's very, very useful, especially when we think about lesson planning? It is because in the last few decades, a teacher's job has increased on his difficulty, challenges, and demands. I don't know about other countries that we have here, but at least in Chile, we have some new decrees that are asking us, well, yes, that are asking us to do even more things. So it's not just about summative assessment. Now we have to do formative assessment and differentiation, and a lot of things, as you can see here in the screen, are required of us as teachers, but we don't necessarily have more time to do it. So we need to activate previous knowledge, give feedback to our students so that the formative assessment is actually relevant, make it meaningful, or project-based learning, and all these active methodologies that are coming up. So how do we do everything with the same amount of time, right? So that's a big challenge. And thankfully, we can use AI to help us. So I just wanted to put a meme there that is going to make it maybe a little bit lighter for the ones that are a little bit scared of AI. So the only way to keep AI from taking your job is to use AI to do your job better, right? So what I mean by that is that we need to make it work for us. There are incredible things that AI can do in seconds or minutes that it would take us hours for us to do. So I remember when I was working as a teacher, I would look for certain resources and I had the idea on my mind, but it was hard for me to get exactly what I wanted, or it would take me hours to do it if I wanted to start from scratch, right? So now with AI and a couple of tools that I'm going to show you, it can take us a couple of minutes. So we need to use all that to our advantage. We need to make it work for us. So today I'm going to show you two tools for lesson planning. Of course, these tools can be used for different things that I'm only going to focus on AI, on lesson planning, sorry. So the first one, I'm pretty sure everyone here is familiar with it, which is ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you how I use it, and I'm going to give you a lot of recommendations for it. And then Magic School, which is absolutely my favorite right now, and it does incredible things. So wanted to start by a disclaimer. AI in no way, shape, or form replaces the teacher's job. Our knowledge, the knowledge we have on our kids, on their families, on our context, that's invaluable, and we need to be empowered by that, okay? And also everything that is done by AI, we should check. We should select only what we need, and we should be confident enough to know that we can modify those things. So never just copy and paste something that AI gives you, because they will lack information that is relevant, such as the level of the kids, your context, and whatnot. So, okay, here's like an example that I'm going to work with to show you how I use ChatGPT on my early stages on lesson planning. So whenever I start lesson planning, I have two things very clear, which is the time frame that I have to work in a unit, and what are the learning objectives that I have. So the ones that you see here, OA11 and OA12, those are the objectives our ministry gives us. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna be different in different countries, but I know that they have like the same idea. So when talking to ChatGPT, you should always keep in mind that the prompt that you tell them is key to success. The more detailed information that you're going to give them, that of course is relevant for the task is better. So always include context, and include information and be very, very detailed to what you want. So here's my example. I told ChatGPT that I am a science teacher for 3rd grade at a bilingual school in Santiago, Chile, and I need to plan a unit about the universe. So I have 6 weeks for this, and every week I have a 90-minute session and a 45-minute session. And I want ChatGPT to break it down into learning objectives for each class with the corresponding indicators, so I know how to assess if that objective was achieved or not, right? And please to include formative assessments that I could use. So I pasted my 2 learning objectives for the unit. And what is great about it is I told ChatGPT that I will paste them on Spanish, but I wanted him to answer in English, and it works. So I'm going to show you a recording now because the answer was very long, as you can imagine. I'm going to show you a recording of how it looks like. So I have the unit plan, and ChatGPT divided it by weeks. It divided it and then by 90-minute session, 45-minute session. And as you can see, every session has the specific objective for the session, indicators, and activities. So this is when me as a teacher, with all my knowledge of the context, my students, my needs, their level, etc., I need to look into this and see if this is what I need or not. And I could change some things myself, or I could ask ChatGPT to do it. So let's pretend, for the sake of the talk, that everything was good and excellent. So my next move would be, something is happening with my Zoom, my presentation, because I am not able to change slides. Okay, here it is. So now I'm going to make it even more detailed, because I need now my classes. What are the activities that I am going to do in my classes? So I can ask for metacognition, reflection, independence practice, direct instruction, everything that your school asks for, right? Effective closure. As you can see, like I'm highlighting a couple of things that were asked. Of course, I also give them the context that please know that as a school, we are embracing active learning and cooperative learning. So, or you could say we are an IB school, we are a Cambridge International Curriculum School, anything that might suit you. Or I want to relate this unit with, I don't know, maths or anything that fits your needs. And then I'm going to show you a video again because of the length of the response. And here you can see it gives activities for independent practice, the closure, everything I asked ChatGPT to do. Here, I played it again. There you go. Direct instruction, guided practice, independent practice, closure and metacognition, reflection. And I already have the formative assessment, right? So I have everything there. I promise you, when I was doing this for the talk, it didn't take me more than 4 minutes to do this. And this is 6 weeks worth of planning, right? And so I just need to look into it, ask for certain modifications if they are needed, and we're good to go. And of course, there are so many things that you can do with ChatGPT for lesson planning. This was only an example because I know time is limited, so I cannot show you every single thing, unfortunately. But here are a couple of other ideas. So regarding the planning and research stage, I know that a lot of schools, especially AB schools, work with essential questions. So you can also create essential questions, which, to be honest, I've done. So I've asked ChatGPT to consider, for example, essential questions, the way Wiggins and McTighe work with them, and to please give me 6 options, and so I can choose the one that I think fits better. Or I could have asked for it to determine some key concept or identify certain vocabulary words that I should use with my age, or in the content creation when I'm doing the resources. ChatGPT can summarize the text, can make it simpler, because if it was a more complex text, and I'm going to show you with the next one, with the next tool, how to use that as well. So we can use, because I know that especially English and Spanish teachers, at least here in Chile, they spend a lot of time making sure that the texts that they use are relevant for the age. So that is something that they could easily get the text that they want, the news, the article, whatsoever, and ask AI to make it the level that they want it, right? We can ask for exercises. So we could ask for a worksheet or an exit ticket. We just paste the objective, tell them what we need. We can tell, hey, I need this to be very easily checked, or I want it to be peer, like some sort of peer assessment, etc. Differentiation. I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in Chile now we have a Decreto 83, which asks for schools to include students with Down syndrome or in the autism spectrum and whatnot, and teachers have to adapt all the resources, sometimes even the curriculum, and ChatGPT can help with that as well, because it takes us a lot of time to create one resource. Just imagine how much it could take to create 5 different ones, right? Also, we can ask them to take into account different things, culturally pertinent, that are happening in your country or whatnot. Well, we already did this, letter C, right? Break down a lesson into a day by day. We can also get a lot of help with assessment design, which is a key part of lesson planning, as I'm sure everyone here knows. So they can generate rubrics. To be honest, whenever I do rubrics, I don't do them from scratch anymore. I give ChatGPT how many criteria I want, how many indicators, what are the scores that I'm going to use, the objective, everything, all the information it may need. ChatGPT gives me the rubric, and I just modify it or edit it or work on it to get the final version. But I already have something to work on, which is great, so helpful. Of course, it can design quizzes and tests. It can even give you feedback from students' work if you don't know how to articulate it or how to explain something. And something that is also very trendy right now in education is everything needs to be data-driven, right? So we want data on everything. So you can give them the information and they can give you the conclusions back, so that you know, it saves a lot of time for that analysis to be done. Or you could even tell them, hey, my students got 75% of approval in these, and how can I modify this lesson plan that I already have to make sure that blah, 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 whatever information I got. I see a lot of messages in the chat, so I'm going to read them so I can see if there is a question coming here or something that I should have stopped at. We are also supposed to do differentiation. Sabine Suleiman. Yeah. Is there a way AI do? What AI do you use? OpenAI or any other? Yes, I use ChatGPT mostly, especially even for emails. You know, when you need to write an email and you're not very sure of the wording, or you want to make it more formal than it is your natural way of writing, which is something that happens to me all the time. Well, I just write what I wanted to say and I put it in ChatGPT and ask, hey, this is an email for blah, 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 blah. I want the tone of the email to be blah, 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 blah. And it gives you everything. So I use it almost for everything. That I would say ChatGPT is my default AI. But I'm going to show you another one that I am hoping not many of you knows it. So it's a nice surprise. So, okay, so here's the second one that I wanted to show you. It's called Magic School, and Magic School is free for teachers. So that is always a very, very good thing, right? It is free for teachers. You have all the options that you can see now in my screen that are appearing. And then I see Romina there uses Magic School. Okay, so we have Magic School here, as I was saying. We have a lot of free options. I mean, it is free and you have a lot of options. It is so easy to create an account. It's like everything, like create an account. You can log in with your Google account if you have it in your computer, and that's it. And whenever you sign in, you get here to this part that you're seeing. And I prepare a couple of things that I wanted to show you that I already prepared. So I'm going to stop this presentation and I'm going to show you my screen so that you can look at everything. Okay, so as I was saying, are you able to see my screen? Yes? Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so as I was saying, here you have Magic School Bus, right? Everything that you just saw on the video recording on my presentation. So let's say I'm going to continue with the example of the universe that I talked about at ChatGPT. So let's say that I want to teach my students about the sun, right? And I'm looking for information. I came here to this webpage of the NASA, and I have all the information that I want here. Our sun is a medium-sized star with a radius, and I say, uh-oh, this is a little bit complex for my third graders. Radius about 435,000 miles. It is written in a way that is going to be really hard for them, considering we are bilingual school, so English is most of my students' second language, not first language. So what can I do? I have an option, which is I write it myself, right? But that is time consuming. I have another option, which is I'm going to look somewhere else, but maybe the information is not going to be as accurate, as true as I want it to be. Like what other webpage could I trust more than NASA in this regard, right? And it is going to take me a lot of time to look for something that I want somewhere else. Or I could come to a platform such as Magic School, and you're going to see here that there is one of the options here. It is a text leveler. So this is here, this one. So this is the one that I used. So I pasted the paragraphs that I had highlighted here, exactly these ones. So you can see how it was before. And I pasted them here, and I told Magic School Bus that my students were a third grade. Of course, maybe you're going to ask for a second grade because Magic School Bus is thinking of English as a first language. So maybe you're going to change it, right? But as you can see, you can edit here the information or even it has a couple of suggestions for you here. So if we compare the text, I can see that it says, like it changed the wording to make it easier for my students to read. But let's say I still don't think it's enough. Maybe I am going to have a couple of students that don't have the level of English that I need, and this is going to be a little bit harder for them. So what can I do to help them, to scaffold for them? And ta-da, we have a text scaffolder, which is amazing. So it is going to help me create a couple of questions and identify certain vocabulary to make the text easier for these kids to get. So I told Magic School Bus that it is a 3rd grade. I wanted 3 literal questions to make the text more accessible to them, and 5 vocabulary words. I pasted exactly what Magic School Bus had given me. I pasted it here and generate, and this is what Magic School Bus gave me. So I have the vocabulary words here with their meanings, as you can see. And I have the questions that are going to help these students to understand what this is. And I am pretty sure that this tool can be used for so many things in so many other classes than just, than just science, right? Let me see, because I see that in the chat, someone is asking, can I find their activities for oral practice? I am really sure you can. To be completely honest, it has like 100 options, and I have not used 100 of them. I have only used the ones that for me, I've needed, and that's one that I have not used yet. But they do, all the options, or most of them at least, do have like a read aloud option that might be useful for you, Vilma. And will you email the presentation? I have no problem. Yes, I'm gonna write Magic School.ai. That's the webpage for this. And if somebody that's organizing this conference tells me how to get to you the presentation, I have no problem. Or you can, I don't know, send me an email, write me on LinkedIn, and I can share it. I'll be happy to. Okay, so other tools that I wanted to show you. So let's say we are in Spanish class or English class, right? And we need to teach the concept of metaphor. This can be like a really hard one, right? Because it is so abstract that some of our students are going to get it right away, but others are not going to get it right away, right? So I looked for a definition. Grammarly gave me this. And on Magic School, I went into multiple explanations. And the reason that I wanted to show you this one was because of the differentiation aspect that is now required for us teachers, right? So our classrooms are inclusive, and so we need to think for a wide spectrum of students, but A, we don't have time, or B, sometimes we don't even know what other way, in which other way to explain things, right? So here it gives like different examples that might be suited for different learners depending on how they learn, because we know not everyone learns differently, right? And then we have a couple of analogies that might help them get what a metaphor is. And this is something that you can use for every single thing. Like you can use it for maths, which is especially useful, right? When a student is not understanding what you're explaining and you are out of ideas of how else to explain it, well, we have it here. And these are all, I'm so sorry, these are all things that you can incorporate on your lesson plan, right? And then this I really, really liked. When I was in the classroom, I loved to do Jeopardies or like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that kind of activities with my students. especially by the end of the unit, like to get a sense, like as a formative assessment, right? To get a sense of how these, how my students were doing, or where did I need to maybe go back to. And so there's this option called Jeopardy review game, right? Which creates a Jeopardy game. I'm pretty sure all of you, or most of you, are familiarized with it, right? So you just tell them the grade. I was stuck with third grade, I'm sorry. And I used the same example as I did with ChatGPT. And so I pasted my learning objective. This is given by the ministry, the Chilean Ministry of Education. I did translate it though, because Magic School does not use Spanish yet. And then I wrote the concepts that I wanted the Jeopardy to use. And this is what I got in less than a minute. This would take me hours to do. And so it has different type of questions, right? Like the more points that you get, the harder the question is. So they are already leveled for you. They have all the information here. You have the structure. And so we have the solar system, the sun, planets, moons, and everything I gave done in seconds. So basically the only thing I would need to do is play the game and have fun and hope that my kids have a great time with it, right? And so let me go back now to my presentation. Is there anyone that maybe has like a specific question on Magic School Bus? I'm Magic School, sorry. I keep thinking on the TV show, the Magic School Bus, whenever I see this AI. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna open a chat to see if I have any messages. Give me 1 second. It is free, Pedro, it is free. That is the magic part of it. One of the magic parts of it. It is free for teachers. So can we listening activities? Yes. I mean, it can read, if you give them a text, it can read it for you. So if you want to make sure that you have like a perfectly pronounced English activity, right? And it can also give you, you can also go into some tools that can give you the questions depending on what you're looking for, right? And so that's what I just show you. So best practices and considerations that I think are worth mentioning are, please always review and adapt AI-generated content for accuracy and appropriateness. I know it seems like they know everything, but I have come to some mistakes on content that AI has done, especially when you are in ChatGPT and you have like a very, very long chat conversation for it. It gets kind of confused at times. So it is good to use like different chats for different topics so that it doesn't get mixed up. And sometimes they do make mistakes. So I had one time, for example, a capital city of a country that was not right. So you need to review everything content-wise. They can make mistakes as well. And of course, the appropriateness regarding your context, your students and your school's levels and everything. Never forget that human creativity and our understanding of our students' needs on context is irreplaceable. And we cannot, I think we teachers all learn this, if we already didn't know it, by force during the pandemic, when we saw how different and hard it was for the kids to learn when they didn't have like the content, the contact, the human contact, the human interaction. It was so hard to almost start a year we start in Chile, we're the Southern Hemisphere, so we start our year in March, and we had like 2 weeks of classes, and then we all went home. So we were getting to know our students, and then we were through Zoom or through Meet or whatever. And so we could really, really experience how important the social interaction, the bond between the teacher, between the students is. So never take that for granted, because that is something AI will never be able to replace. And students learn, especially younger ones, right? Students learn from teachers that they care about, that they love, that they like. So we can have like the best lesson plan, but if we don't have that part with them, it's not going to be effective. And I think that another part that is very important, especially for our kids, for which AI will probably be very natural, not like us that we need to learn it. It is to be very transparent to what was done using AI, what was not. And that can also help to educate them on how to use them, because I teach university students as well. And sometimes they can give you papers or certain, I don't know, answers or questions and stuff, and that they did on AI. And you can tell because of the way that it was written, because in class they don't write that way and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's fine in certain, I don't know, tasks, depending on the objective, of course, but be transparent. And that way you teach them, hey, I am not against AI. I use it too. This was done by AI, but let's just not pretend or play the game that I did this by myself, because that's not ethically correct and not true either. One good prompt in ChatGPT. I'm reading the chat. Maybe run one good prompt in ChatGPT and check against one generated by Magic School. That's a very good idea, Daniela. I like it. I think I have time to do it, so I will definitely do it. I believe students will need teachers to help them use AI. I absolutely agree with you. I don't know if they will need help to learn how to do it, because probably they will be more natural at using it, but definitely on how to do it, right? Like the ethics and the moral and the rights behind everything that is done. And so I am going to do what Daniela suggested, because I think it's a great idea, before I show you my last part. So maybe I can do exactly what I asked ChatGPT, the first example. So I'm going to paste this one that was, you remember the unit about the universe and having 6 weeks. So I have this here. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste this part because the learning objectives are in Spanish. And I'm going to go here to the lesson plan. Here it is, which is great because I get to use this. I mean, to show you this as well. So sorry that I didn't before. And downloading, we have that funny bunny there. So it is a 3rd grade. I am going to paste the learning objective that was already translated. Where was it? Here, no. Here. I'm going to use this that was already translated for us here. And additional criteria, I'm going to paste all the information here. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. So here's my main objective, right? That doesn't change. The assessment, okay, so they give you a final assessment, which ChatGPT gives as well. I'm going to show it to you. By the end, final assessment, so presentation of the summary project. Of course, I would need, in this case, I would need to ask for a more detailed description of the final assessment, right? So let's go back to the Magic School and here. So there you have the presentation, key points, opening, the introduction to the new material, guided practice. Okay, so the way that they do it differently is that they don't change it week by week. So maybe then I would have to ask, like divide it myself somehow, like here, for example, and ask it to be week by week, because even though I gave the same prompt and I gave all the information of the 90-minute session, 45-minute session, 6 weeks and whatnot, it puts everything together. But I think it would be really great anyway, because it will probably come up with ideas that are different from ChatGPT's, so they can complement each other. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to my presentation again. Give me a second. And as we were saying, we need to be very transparent as when we do use AI and when we don't, right? And so I asked ChatGPT when I was preparing my presentation, I said, I want a thought-provoking quote that will help me finish this presentation. Of course, I explained the context. This is what ChatGPT told me. AI will never replace teachers, but teachers who use AI will replace those who don't. So I think it is up to us to decide whether ChatGPT is a little bit subjective on what it is suggesting, but I think it was so interesting and funny that ChatGPT actually suggested that. And oh, and that's it. I see here that I have a couple of questions. So Gonzalo Troncoso said, in your opinion, which are the key words we should include to prepare a lesson? I mean, the ones that I should need to write every time. Okay, keywords. So I'm going to go back to that part. Let me go back to that part of my presentation, so we can discuss it. Here. Okay, here we have it. So I think that keywords that you should always use are more than keywords, are maybe key concepts. Of course, great. If your school is like a very like a specific type of school, that should be like a Montessori school, maybe, I don't know, Reggio Emilia, or some type of special education involved. You need to be very clear on what you're expecting. So I am expecting like a week to week, a class by class, everything that you want ChatGPT to give you, you need to tell them exactly as it is, the length of what you are planning. I would say that's it. Of course, the objective. Be very clear on what the objective is that you need to work on. And I hope that answers your question, Gonzalo. I'm looking at the chat in case I didn't. Okay, how did you make the QR code that showed at the beginning of the webinar? I mean, with the application. Okay, so in Menti, you have the QR code. I didn't do it, Menti does it. So you go into mentimeter.com and you do your task. I don't know, Sarah, if you are familiar with Menti, but you go into Mentimeter and then you have like all the options of the type of questions, interactive questions that you want to make. And when you did it, you share, and it generates the QR code alone. And I just pasted it on Canva. And I also embedded the link from Mentimeter to Canva so that I didn't need to change from website to use it. I hope I answer your question. And I see Murat, I hope I'm reading your name properly, asking if Magic School is free for teachers. Yes, it is. It is free for teachers. I saw somebody asking earlier if it was like an extra that you would need to pay, that you could pay to get, I don't know, more features or something. And yes, there is, I think, like a plus option. I've never looked into it. I've never needed to do something that couldn't be done by the free version. So I have not looked into it, honestly, because I feel like the free version is already so complete. And yes, Victoria, I agree. You can generate any exercise immediately for a lesson. And it allows you, as I was saying before, it allows you to plan ahead for so many different things that we wish we could do. We wish we had the time. Well, now maybe we have it. So that was my presentation. I was told that you have now a break, a 20-minute break. You are going to be called back at 2:50, so 10 to 3. You have 20 minutes to go get a coffee, eat something, or whatever you need. And if anyone needs everything, just reach me on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to chat. So thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.